Hi everyone! I said I was going to go live. It's just a few minutes after 10 o'clock California, 11 o'clock Arizona. I'm going to wait for some people to hop on. Hello, hello. If you're on, say hi. Want to see who is coming on here. Just double checking everything's working. Hi, everyone. Oh, here we go. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Ron. Hi, Daniel. They're updating these apps all the time. Every day it looks a little different. First of all, let me say, excuse me for the way I look. I have some things that I want to share with everyone. I've been talking to a few people over the last few days, and I think that everyone said with this communication device of being able to go live, it's really a good way to share with people. So I really am excited. Hi, Ariel. Hi, everyone. Hi, Julie. Hi, Sandy. I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes to see people jumping on. Hi, Tina. Today I wanted to talk about our whys, why we do what we do, and kind of share my story. And again, I say, excuse me for the way I look. I'm going to share some things with you today that maybe will open your eyes to why I look this way, why I'm doing this from my bed, and to give you some hope that you can do anything that you want if you have the mindset within yourself and you have why. Hi, Karen. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Christian. So there's about 13 people on now. So with that, I just want to start off by talking about doing anything in our life. This is not specifically about any type of business, but just getting up every day, knowing our why we do things. I want to start off by saying that, first of all, over the last year, I have been so blessed to have so many souls brought into my life that would never have come into my life before if it wasn't for Canaway. And to be quite honest, Canaway is something that is given me so much passion, but the reason it's given me so much passion is because of the way it's changed my family's health and well-being, first of all. And second of all, it's changed my financial situation personally. Just looking at not my husband as a family income, but my personal way of being able to help be a part of our family financially, not just as a mother. So I'm going to go pretty far back in my story. I want everybody to understand that not everyone can be judged by the way that they show themselves. And a lot of people are like, you're so beautiful. They tell me all the time. Clearly, I'm not going to say I look beautiful right now. I look like I'm in bed and have zero makeup on. I don't even have my new haircut done or anything. So first of all, I want to tell you guys that I grew up in a town called Tucson, Arizona. I don't know if any of you have been there, but one of the things that I grew up in was a very traumatic, dramatic household. My father, when we were children, was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and he did work, but he worked night shifts and he partied a lot. And one of the things that happened to me in my lifetime growing up was a lot of physical, mental, and emotional abuse. By the time that I was 14 years old, I had run away probably about 10 different times. One time when I ran away, I made it all the way to Los Angeles, California, because I was just so in fear every day of my life that I was willing to go and do anything to get out of the situation that I was in. At 14 years old, I remember this so clearly. I was told I couldn't go out for New Year's Eve, and I snuck out anyway. And when I jumped back in my window at probably 2 or 3 in the morning, all of my clothes had been taken out of my room, out of my drawers, out of my closet, all my socks, everything. Even my bed was taken out of my room. And I opened my door very quietly, and I peeked in the hall, and all I saw was my mattress slid against the hallway wall. And I just knew that apparently I wasn't welcome anymore. So I jumped right back out my window, and starting at that point in time in my life, I basically lived couch hopping for 2.5 years. At that point, it was only a half a semester into my freshman year of high school. I actually dropped out at that point. I didn't ever go back to school. I had a runaway on my record. My parents actually called the police as a runaway at that time. And I didn't go home. I stayed out because I was so afraid of going back to the abuse that was happening in my house. And so I really didn't have any education. I had no high school education. I couldn't get a job. I was 14, 15 years old. And at 16 years old, there was a turn of events that happened between me and my father where I ended up contacting the police. And the state of Arizona actually gave my mother an ultimatum to divorce my father or to stay with him. And if she was going to stay with him, a lot of you don't even know that I actually had 2 younger brothers. And they told my mother, if you don't divorce this man, we will take all 3 of your children and put them in foster care, and you and your husband's wages will be garnished until the youngest is 18. So my youngest brother was actually 4 years younger than me. And my mother did end up deciding to separate from my father at that time. That was, almost 16 years ago now. And I moved back home, and I went back to a different school, and I took tests, and I got back into high school, and I graduated 1 year late from high school with just the credits I needed. I didn't really do anything spectacular or special. I just did everything that I needed to do to get that high school diploma. I did go to 1 semester of college at Pima Community College in Tucson, but I only got 12 credits, and I just knew the college atmosphere wasn't for me. I was paying for it out of my own pocket. I didn't have the money to pay for it. My parents didn't have any money whatsoever. And so I dropped out of college. So I told the people that I discussed about this that I was going to be brutally honest, because I want people to understand truly that you can do anything, no matter who you are, no matter what your past is. I knew that Tucson wasn't the place for me, but there was no way I was going to find a job to be able to get out of Tucson so that I would be paid enough money to at least save up to do that. So I decided basically right after graduating high school that I was going to become an exotic dancer. And it's okay if you want to judge me for it, because it's what I needed to do at that time for my life. And I actually did that for 10 years. And that allowed me to save up money to buy cars, an apartment, feed myself, help my mother pay her car insurance, help my mother pay her cell phone bill, even though I wasn't living in her home. It allowed me the freedom to be able to move out of Tucson and move to Phoenix, Arizona, and figure out where I wanted to live in Phoenix, which happened to be Scottsdale. And I paid for it all on my own. I did it all by myself. I went to work 4 to 6 hours a day. And to be quite honest, I made a lot of money. I could make $1,000 a day sometimes. And I didn't really have any solid relationships. I'm sure most of you can understand that dating somebody that would be in that line of work, they pretty much are either really bad people, or the first thing that they're going to say is quit your job. And there wasn't anybody that was special enough for me to quit my job and be able to not support myself financially, because we all need money. I mean, that's the way the world works today. We're not pulling our teeth out and trading anymore, ivory out of our mouth. we trade money for the things that we need, including water and shelter and food. So fast forward to 2008. Actually, let's go back a little bit first. In my early 20s, I was in a severe car accident, which for temporarily I was unable to work, standing on my feet all day. Clearly, I couldn't work after a car accident. And I was put on a series of about 8 different pain pill medications. I was seeing a pain specialist, and I was so depressed that my life was falling apart around me. I lost my apartment. I lost all of the savings that I had ever had. And I just was in so much debt that I couldn't even think. And I actually decided one day, I had tried to call a bunch of friends and no one was answering. And I just felt completely alone. And I took all 8 of the bottles of pills that I was given for this pain that I was having from this car accident. And I drank a couple of beers and I tried to kill myself. So this was right before my 21st birthday that I actually personally tried to commit suicide. And with that, I actually was found. There was a guy who I forgot that we were supposed to hang out that night. He called me and he said that I sounded strange, and he drove about 45 minutes from his place in Tucson, because at that time I was still in Tucson, all the way up to my mom's house, and banged on her door at 10 o'clock at night until she woke up and answered, and he refused to leave until he saw me. And she came in the room, and I was actually dead, and they called 911 and they pumped me back to life. They actually pumped my stomach multiple times to get the pills out. And after that, my mother had said she couldn't really deal with what I was dealing with anymore. She just couldn't do it, along with having 2 children that were 18 and 16 at the time. So I moved in with my father for a couple of months, and right after that is when I moved to Phoenix. Now, I just kept working and dancing. I got back on my feet. I stopped using pain pills because I couldn't get a prescription anymore after trying to commit suicide. And with that, I just was living in Phoenix. And in 2008, January 18th, I remember this so clearly, I went to a bar with my best friend, Jody, her husband, and one of our other friends. His name is Adam. And one of Adam's friends called and was like, "What are you doing?" And we said, "Yeah, come hang out." And I remember so clearly sitting in this booth looking at Jody, and this guy walks in the bar, and I just couldn't take my eyes off of him. And I was like looking at him, and then magically he just came and sat next to us. And I was like, oh my God, he's so good looking. How is he sitting next to us? And that is my husband today. I asked that guy, Adam, literally less than 24 hours later, "Do you mind if I call your friend and ask him on a date?" And he goes, "No, I don't care. We're friends. Do whatever you want." And so Jay and I literally started dating on January 19th of 2008. And we haven't ever broken up. We've been together ever since. Not that life is perfect. Yes, we do argue and fight, but we've had some major miracles in our life. I actually quit dancing when he asked me to. And basically since, I would say, March of 2008, I have not really made my own personal income. I lost my apartment when I did that because Jay could clearly not afford to pay for his home and his vehicle and my apartment, which was multiple miles away, like over a 30-minute drive away from each other. I ended up finding a job. Okay, sorry guys, I had a little pause. I ended up finding a job at Quicken Loans in 2008 where I was getting paid $800 a month. And then if I closed loans, I was able to get a commission. But in 2008, I didn't have the heart. Like, the way that Quicken Loans works is you make a $500 deposit if they feel as though you can actually get a loan through them, a new mortgage. And everybody that I was given as a lead, I just couldn't. There was no way. I was looking at their loan ratios and there's just no money at that point in the economy and in the housing market. So I never took anybody's money, and I was fired within 6 months because I never wrote a loan because I just couldn't do it. And so I'm at Jay's home in a town called Apache Junction, no job, no way to help support anything. And that's when I really started like understanding how important it is for women to want to be able to give something to the family rather than just asking. And at that point, we didn't have kids. I'll just go a little bit further into the year. In August of 2008, my youngest brother, his name was Eric, he was diagnosed with MRSA, and it was eating his brain, and he was already really unhappy, and he committed suicide. So I lost my first brother then. It actually happened to be the day after my birthday, in 2008, and that was the first time that Jay ever met my dad, was when my dad came for that funeral. And then in 2010, Jay and I bought the house that we currently live in Scottsdale. My brother Keith, which happened to be 2 years younger than me, he actually came and he started helping us clean up this house and getting it ready. And we really thought that, you know, we were helping him get through the death of our youngest brother because they were so very close, being that they were the two boys and I was the oldest girl. They just had a bond that was like no other. I'm sure there's other families out there that understand that bond. And we found out we were pregnant with Ashton, and we were all so very excited. And the day before my birthday in 2010, my brother Keith took his life because he couldn't live without the love of his brother, and he couldn't understand that his brother was there with him now more than ever because of the fact that he was out of his physical body in pain. So at this point now, I've lost both of my brothers in 2010. And a few months later, Ashton was born, and it was just something that changed our life. And I wanted to just be the best mom to my boy as I could. And so I wanted to go and do swim class and little gym and all these different gymboree and all these different activities. And it was just causing this major strain financially on my husband because I wasn't putting in anything into our household. There was no financial help coming from me. I was just spending and spending. Well, at 1 year old, I know that my son was vaccine injured. Literally less than 24 hours after his injury, after his immunizations, I should say, or vaccinations, he had been covered in a rash from head to toe. I actually have photos of that, and it was just super scary, but the doctors just said that, oh, he probably got the chicken pox from the vaccination. Don't worry about it. It's something that happens quite often. It's not really a big deal. And so with that being said, we just kind of moved on with our life. He did, seem to heal on his body from the rash that had happened. But shortly after that, we found out we were pregnant with Archer. And by the time Archer was born, we really started noticing that Ashton's behaviors with others was really not what a normal, average, typical child of that age would be. And so the school that he was attending, actually, rather than kicking him out, because he had been kicked out of a couple other preschools before that, asked us if we were willing to seek help and maybe some professional like doctor to give us a diagnosis. And a few months after Ashton turned 2.5, he was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. And his number one biggest problem is that he was a biter. And Right around Ashton's 3rd birthday is when Archer started crawling, because they're 2.5 years apart almost by days. And what we started seeing in our household is that Ashton would just attack Archer constantly. I could never make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or go to the bathroom, because if Archer was anywhere near the vicinity of Ashton being able to reach him, Ashton would literally bite him to bleeding. And we lived with that every single day. For years and years. And the doctors wanted to put him on Zoloft, and I said no, because I had been put on Zoloft during some of the depression that I talked about earlier when I tried to commit suicide, and it didn't make me feel right. And so I refused that treatment, and I went and sought a naturopathic doctor, and we worked with them for a little over a year, but we just weren't seeing the major types of results that we were wanting. And a lot of people during that time knew that I was using cannabis, self-medicating at the time. I did have a medical card in the state of Arizona, but I was using it as a self-medicator to just be calmer, because when one child is attacking another child in your home, you just don't even know what the reaction should be. It's like anger and sadness, and like, to be quite honest, I even had hatred for Ashton at a moment in my life, which is so hard to admit. But it was because I didn't understand, and nobody had understanding and could even give us a reason of why he was doing the things he was doing. And then I started actually researching cannabis. Now, this is over 3 years ago now, you guys. Ashton will be 7 on Valentine's Day, by the way. So I started just researching cannabis, and I started learning about the different cannabinoids, and I personally started using a CBD product that I was importing from out of the country for a couple, probably about a month, and then I knew I wasn't getting intoxicated from it or having adverse side effects, so I started using it with Ashton. And I also started using it with Archer because I felt Archer had PTSD from being attacked. And then going on to September of 16, which was just last year, a gentleman named Todd saw a sticker on my truck because my background is in health coaching. I got into that after Archer was born. It really wasn't bringing us in an income. To be quite honest, it was another direct sales company. I'm sure some of you have heard about it. It's called Herbalife. It did help me lose 40 pounds. Their meal plan and their products are amazing, but it's an old company. It's 30 years old, actually older than 30 years old. It was born in 1980. And so with that being said, as somebody who was trying to distribute that product, I just wasn't finding success. Everybody had already heard about it. A lot of people tried it. If you don't stay on the meal plan and you don't keep using the products, your results end. And that's what I think a lot of people forget. Things aren't temporary. Life is ever going. And if you don't continue, and that goes for anything, if you stop drinking water, you're going to get sick. If you stop eating food, you're going to get sick. You know, there's certain things that we need to keep our bodies going and healthy. And with that, when this guy asked me what I know about CBD, I looked into the Canaway company, and I started using the product again myself, and I started seeing results, like my own personal anger was being balanced. My own personal frustrations and sadness and depression was starting to balance out within a couple of weeks, and I wasn't getting intoxicated, so I started giving it to my boys. And within 90 days, wow, some of the results that we saw were just, it's changed our life, and that's why I am so loud and proud. But one of the things that I wanted to share with everyone is that I think that most of you know I'm pregnant. This is our 3rd son. We found out that we were pregnant in mid-September after I returned from Barcelona, Spain. And we went to the doctor, and we saw our baby for the first time when we were 13 weeks and 5 days pregnant. It was on October 17th. And so with that being said, everything has been going fine in my pregnancy, except for on this weekend. It was Thanksgiving. We drove to Jay's parents' house, which, by the way, they live in the mountains about 6 hours away from the Phoenix area. The nearest grocery store and hospital is about an hour and 15 minutes away from their house. And on Friday, I had something happen to me that is called premature rupture of membranes. Some people call it PROM. It means that my water broke. My water broke when I was 18 weeks and 3 days pregnant. And I started having some labor and contractions. And Jay rushed me to the hospital. We left the boys with my in-laws. We didn't even tell anybody what was going on. We were just so frantic that we just got in the car and drove to the hospital. And they told me that basically I lost all my amniotic fluid. And they said that I could possibly have a miscarriage and that I needed to go to the Phoenix Scottsdale Hospital as fast as possible. So I laid in the back of our truck, and my husband drove us to Scottsdale, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I had a real ultrasound here in the Phoenix area. And just so everybody gets an understanding, because I had no idea, when you're 18 weeks pregnant, you should have an amniotic fluid level somewhere between the 18 to 20 point mark. And my amniotic fluid was a 1.1 at 2 o'clock in the Saturday morning. I was put into a room, checked into the high risk room at the hospital. They put me on an IV and antibiotics because getting an infection is one of the worst things that could happen when your water breaks early. And with that being said, I actually am now on permanent bed rest. I am going to see a high-risk perinatal physician, and I'm still seeing my OB. And at this point, we have to wait to see if my amniotic fluid begins to rise, to see if we need to choose to terminate or not. I have gotten some phone calls from some people that have shared with me that there is no need to terminate because there is a very high possibility of saving our baby Abbott. But one of the things that I want to share with everyone is that even through all of this, there is a blessing that is behind it, is that I can still actually do my job and I can still help people. I have been working every day on my Counterway business. Even in the hospital, I'm still taking 3-way phone calls. I'm still helping people with understanding cannabis and all of the health benefits. And I'm still able to help contribute financially into my household. And this is something that I think that so many people don't understand about direct sales or network marketing or these pyramid schemes that they want to call it, is that not everyone is blessed and lucky enough to be able to get up every day and go to work at a job that they probably most likely don't even like. They probably hate it. You know, I get to work from home. I get to be with my boys every single day. And I get to still help people all over the entire country and world if they want the help. Now, I can't get my makeup on because I shouldn't be sitting at my vanity, and I can't be doing my hair because I shouldn't be standing up blow drying my hair. I can take a shower. I can sit on my couch with my feet up. I can sit in my bed with my feet up. But one of the most beautiful blessings that I've received by finding this business and knowing that these Counterway products actually work is that in the last year, knowing that I have no college education and maybe I could get hired for minimum wage, I think that's like maybe $10 an hour now, that in the last year, and I'm going to show you guys something so you can understand, in the last year, what I've been able to help contribute back into my family because of this beautiful business is my commissions. I've been able to contribute over $40,000 back into my family and still be a stay-at-home mom. You know, in my downline, I have 19 people. That's not that many people that I've personally enrolled. But I help every single person that I can. And excuse me, because this is so emotional. I'm like tearing up. But I hate to hear people's excuses. Everybody has bad things that happen into their life. You know, everybody that I have met and I've come into contact with is in pain somehow. May it be mental, physical, emotional, or even spiritual. People have pain. And the beautiful thing is that even though I'm crying right now, I am actually not super stressed about my pregnancy. I am using my CBD products, and yes, I've consulted with both my OB as well as Dr. Stuart Titus, who is such a wonderful man and a good friend. But this is something that I want people to realize. Stop making excuses for yourself. There's no excuse that you can't love on people and share and help people. Like, there's so many people who just give up so quickly. Not every day is easy. Like I said, I don't have the perfect days. I have, disagreements with people. Even within our own organization, not everybody is the same. That's the beautiful thing about life. Like, you may have one opinion and I may have another, and maybe we'll never be on the same page. But to hold that anger is only hurting yourself. Like, I try to let go and let God and just breathe and know that as long as my heart stays in a beautiful place of wanting to help everyone that I can, that I will find success, even if it's from my bed. Like, Randy and Samantha Schrader are having this amazing training this weekend that I was supposed to carpool a few people to. And I can't even go to it, and my heart is broken because I so badly wanted to be there with those leaders in the room. But I also know that I have developed relationships with almost all of those leaders, and I feel confident that after this weekend, when I reach out to them and ask them to share with me what they have learned and what things that they think are the most biggest blessings for them, that I'll be able to get that information. Every single day, there are people out there that are in their bed that are suffering in some way. Maybe they've given up hope because they've lost a loved one. I could have given up hope when I lost both of my brothers. I didn't stop. I kept going. I knew that there was some reason that I was supposed to be here. When I tried to kill myself and it didn't happen, I knew there was a reason I was supposed to be here. And the reason is so that I can help others. And I know that now. And I didn't even know that. Like, I knew about a couple of years ago when I met my first direct sales company that I could help others be healthier and live a more healthy and active lifestyle. And then as I've learned about cannabis over this last almost 3.5 years, and how it can save the world, like, how can you know about this and not tell people? I know it is hard to help people understand, but at the same time, I am able to do things now in my life that I never thought would be possible. And so I just want everybody to look inside of themselves and understand why they're here. Listen and listen to your guides. They're out there, I promise, if you can stop and listen. I listen to Abraham Hicks audios almost every day. I listen to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books all of the time that are about self-help and empowerment and leadership. And I just want all of you to know that no matter what you're going through, there is a reason for it, for you to learn your strength. There is a reason for you to be going through every single trouble. This pregnancy is going to teach me something that maybe I don't even know yet. But I know that I am still able to be able to help others. And that's the most important thing. Even in my time of being at rest, I can still help others. And so I know, I don't even know how much time, it doesn't tell you. 34 minutes I've been on now talking to you guys. And I really appreciate everyone who's listening in. I just hope that you guys can share this with anyone that you feel is lost and doesn't understand their why, or go back and watch this on days that you don't want to work, that you don't want to help others, where you feel defeated, where you feel like this is too hard. There's nothing that can be too hard until the day you stop breathing. Then you can't stop helping. But I promise you, if you know the truth and you bring in love and light into your life and share that with others, that you can be as successful as you want to be, and you can help others. And like I said, if it wasn't for this beautiful, glorious pyramid scheme that everybody wants to call us, I would not have been able to help my family with $40,000 in a year. There's no way. I could never get a job that would pay me 40 grand a year. And I was able to do it this year. My first year in business with Canaway, year number 1, I made $40,000, all at the same time as being a stay-at-home mom with 2 boys, one of them with autism spectrum disorder, taking them all over and doing all the things that they need to do. I'm still able to help and contribute and still be the mom and the wife that my husband and my family needs me to be. So please just remember, when you're sad, when you could be depressed, there's no reason. I could be off grid. I could just be totally depressed right now. But I know that I can help individuals even in my time of pain, because I truly am choosing not to suffer through this. I understand what my why is, and I can still help anybody that I want as long as I have a phone available. So I want everybody out there to know that if you need anything, if you have questions, you can Facebook direct message me, you can text message me, you can call me. I can do 3-way calls all day long because I can't do anything. So especially to my team out there all over the country, if you need me, call on me, lean on me. I'm here to help. I want to help everybody that I can. And just know that there is nothing in life that's too hard that you can't overcome it. You are only given what you need to learn from. You are only given what you need to succeed from. So no matter how hard it is, just remember it's given to you because you are strong enough, and you are going to learn a beautiful soul and spirit lesson for it, and to take every lesson and move forward with it to help others, because now I know that I will be able to help other people with this, so please don't give up. And with that, I just want everyone to know that I love each and every one of you. I know that each and every one of us is out to help one another and change this world. So don't stop changing your life, and don't stop changing others' lives, because as we continue to share and love, we will see in our future a world of peace. And that is what I know we all want, a beautiful world filled with peace. Bye, everyone.